Hey guys, and welcome to Jenkins 31, and as you guys can see, we are back on Uvu. I know it's 2010 video chatting, and this is 2016, almost 2017, but oh well. Google Hangouts is terrible now, so there you go. So we are back here today with Josh after a while. Too long. And we're just here to talk about the MLB winter meetings, and some of the moves went down, and some things that we're surprised haven't happened yet. Let's talk about the surprises first. What the hell is going on with Edwin Encarnacion and Joey Bats?
Well, I don't know, honestly. Remember, just a couple of days ago, the Orioles manager just blatantly came out and said, well, we don't want Joey Bats because our fans don't like Joey Bats.
Whoa, what is going on with your signal? Holy shit. Hold on. You're like, I can understand you, but you sound like a freaking robot or some shit right now.
You sound the same way, bro.
What the hell? Let's just keep it going. If we have to redo this at a later date, we will. Just keep it going.
All right.
So Joey Bats, the Orioles fans said that they just don't like Joey Bats. But if you remember, Joey Bats was once in the major leagues for the Baltimore Orioles way back early in his career, back in 2004. So that's saying something right there. The fact that, he was your former player and now you don't like him.
Well, he wasn't very good then, was he?
No, I mean, in 2004 he played for 5 teams. He played for, I don't even know, the Pirates.
The Pirates, and
the Royals, and there was one other team. I feel like it was Tampa Bay or something.
Yeah, it was somebody weird. We did go over this in another chat before.
Yeah, we did. Encarnacion, Encarnacion,
For that or listening, you probably know that by now.
Yeah. And like I was saying with Encarnacion, at first I thought maybe he would go to Boston. Then they go inside Mitch Moreland. I thought maybe they would go to Cleveland. They want to try and get Mike Napoli back first. I thought, maybe Colorado, they'd go and sign Ian Desmond. So that leaves Texas, Toronto, and honestly Cleveland.
Yeah, he's going to want to go to a winner, that's for sure.
And here's the thing. Texas, Toronto, and Cleveland are all contenders.
Yeah, and shoot, Texas really doesn't like him either, though.
No. They really don't.
I'd have to guess. Oh, man, that's a tough one.
I hate seeing big-name free agents stay with the same team. I really do. I want to see uniform changes.
I actually don't, to be honest with you. I like to see him stay on the same team. I like for him to stay in Toronto. It just builds up the rivalries with the teams, and I don't like LeBron James going to the Heat and then going back to the Cavs and all this other BS. I like for him to stay at the same team.
Yeah, I'll definitely be interested to see what happens.
Yeah, it will be. I like the same teams.
Yeah. All right, now let's talk about one of the teams that are on the thumbnail. We got the Braves, we got the Yankees, we got the White Sox, and the Cardinals, I believe, are on the thumbnail. And I put the Cardinals on there because they didn't do jack shit at the winter meetings. But within 4 hours after the winter meetings ended, they go out and sign Dexter Fowler to, I believe it was a 5-year, $88 million contract pending a physical.
Which is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge.
Not only is it a huge contract, it's huge for the Cardinals.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the guy. I could care less what the contract is. That is a huge signing for the Cardinals. They had jack crap out there in outfield. And now you get Dexter Fowler to go with, Tommy Pham, Randall Grichuk, and who else?
Who the hell is their right fielder?
I can't remember at this moment.
I don't know. But here's what Dexter Fowler's doing. He's pulling a freaking Jason Hayward. Jason Hayward got traded to the Cardinals from the Braves. And then him and John Lackey go up to Chicago, end up winning a World Series. within, what, a year?
Yep.
So, is Dexter Fowler going to do the same thing? Is he going to go down to St. Louis? Are the Cardinals going to win the World Series?
I'm going to say no. I honestly think the Cubs are still far and away the whole National League, honestly, the front runners right now.
Yeah. Now, speaking of, I know we're like going all over the place, but that's because there's so much to talk about. Now let's talk about the World Series for a second, or not the World Series, but like a team that is saying, "Oh, it's our year," and it's not the Cubs.
Yeah.
It's the Houston Astros, arguably the youngest team, one of the youngest teams in baseball, until they went out and signed Charlie Morton, traded for Brian McCann, and signed Carlos Beltran. I'm forgetting one more move they made.
Yeah, you are. I can't remember what it is either. However, they did need some experience and some World Series experience for that team. They finally got it. It looks like they got a good mixture of young guys and good veterans. Jose Altuve is nothing to sneeze at, so they could really be a contender this year. I think they might overtake Texas.
It's quite possible. I mean, I'll definitely be curious to see how they fare, especially with the other teams in the AL West and even the other teams in the American League as a whole. But I definitely think with these acquisitions, they definitely just reclaimed the American League West. Oh, Josh Reddick.
Oh, yeah. I shouldn't have forgotten that, huh?
I thought I would have forgotten Charlie Morton, but no, he's the first one I name off.
That's like the least of the worries there.
So, I mean, go ahead.
Anyway, yeah, the Seattle Mariners are still the Seattle Mariners. They're missing a piece or two.
They're missing they're missing Nori Aoki, who is actually also in Houston now.
Yeah. The Rangers, it seems like they've regressed a little bit. I wouldn't say a whole lot, but still a little bit.
Yeah,
the A's are garbage.
Yeah, all the Rangers did was replace Ian Desmond with frickin' Carlos Gomez, who they just re-signed the other day.
Yeah.
Now, let's switch divisions for a second. Let's go to the AL East.
All right.
Tampa Bay Rays don't make any moves except signing Wilson Ramos pending a physical. Now, Wilson Ramos, I believe, tore his ACL or his MCL or some ligament in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's not due back at the earliest June. They signed him to a 2-year, oh dear Lord, 2-year, 12.5, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously not the big money he wanted and not the big money a lot of people expected him to get with the huge season he had. But was it a waste of contract and a waste of time for the Tampa Bay Rays?
Yeah, because I don't think they have a whole lot of pieces to actually make a run. I don't think it's a terrible move. They want to see what they have with Wilson Ramos.
Is the signing more for 2018 than it is for 2017?
Yes, it is. I don't think that's even debatable at this moment.
No.
Not only that, he's not due back till, like you said, June, and hell, they may not even be in the
mid-June
race
at that.
point.
I'd say they could easily be 20 games out by then. I mean, it's the Rays we're talking about here.
Yeah, they may not even actually bring him back till after the All-Star break if they want to be a little more cautious.
Could be a 5-19 Chris Archer once again, you know?
Yeah. That's okay. If they get a couple more pieces at the trade deadline and get some more next winter meetings and next off season, they could be in some good shape.
Now,
for this year, they're kind of sucky.
Yeah. Now, going to the top of the AL East, there are two teams that very well could be first and second place in either order for the first time since 2009. And that's the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees, we'll start there because that's my team. They went out and they signed Matt Holliday to a 1-year, $13 million contract And in his contract, it states he cannot be traded to one team. You know who that one team is?
The Oakland Athletics.
Yes.
And he states that because the sewage there is so awful that because the coaches' bathrooms overflew a couple times and so did the players. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to play half my games there either if I'm however old he is. He's up for 30s, I know that.
Yeah, 30... shit. I don't know. 36, I think?
Yeah, something like, I wouldn't want to play that in the twilight of my career either. So,
Now,
there's that.
and he also only played 92 games there back in, 08? 08, 09?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
now, who else did the Yankees sign? Well, they went out and reacquired Aroldis Chapman. 5 years, you're going to have to help me here, 5 years, $86 million with,
Yeah, something like that.
and it's a 3-year opt-out, a 3-year full no-trade clause, and then for the 4th and 5th year, he has a partial no-trade clause. And he cannot be traded to pretty much anywhere on the West Coast.
Yeah, it says no California team.
It's like, what does that even mean? Like,
he doesn't want to be traded to the Angels, the A's, the Dodgers, the Padres, Giants.
Whatever. I don't. Yeah. Now, what other moves do the Yankees need to make to even have a shot at making it back to the playoffs? Because they're definitely not done.
No, they're not done.
I mean, I think the AL East might have been won already, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Honestly, I was surprised that they even got Chapman back, if you want me to be honest. I thought the Cubs would get him, but then, of course, he was asking for too much money for their liking, and then he said he wanted to stay in Chicago regardless, and they still said that. And then I thought that he might go somewhere else, but he ended up back with the Yankees, so their bullpen is pretty much legit right now.
I don't know, they have 2/3 of the DMC back, and the other third is now Tyler Clippard, so they got DTC.
Yeah.
So our bullpen's looking solid again. So that's good.
Yeah, I think a really, really good start. Now you can start thinking about, well, if I have a lead, well, then I can start winning the games that I should win. So those one-run games you guys were involved in, which there was a shit ton of them, maybe you could actually start winning those now.
Yeah. And who is it? I think it's Caprilin and Montgomery are both due up around June of this year. So that's a big plus to our rotation right there. You know, get CC and maybe Pineda into the bullpen, or hell, maybe even trade him out. You know, get those contracts off the books.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good start. I still think, however, that the Red Sox are by far and away the leader of that division until otherwise proven. But, if you guys start the one-run games, you could be right there.
Yeah, the 4-lefty rotation Boston Red Sox. Now, people who have been living under a rock may be thinking 4 lefties, David Price, Eddie Rodriguez, and I can't even think of who the hell the other one is. They went out and got Chris Sale at the winter meetings. So Chris Sale is basically just changing the color of his socks.
Yeah, basically. I'll change him from white to red.
But let me ask you a question. With Chris Sale going to Boston, do the red alternate uniforms stand a chance in the locker
room? Interesting.
A lot of people probably don't even understand that reference. Okay, back on his last start before the trade deadline back in July, they were wearing these alternate uniforms that, I'm not going to lie, I don't blame him for cutting them up. They were terrible. They weren't the 70s throwback ones or whatever. No, these were like these knit blue wool uniforms, or at least they looked frickin' wool, in the dog days of summer. And he cut them up. I cannot say I blame him for that. But do these Red Sox uniforms, or even the blue ones, do they stand a chance in the locker room with Chris Sale?
You know what? If I was smart, and I was the GM...
Safety scissors and safety scissors only?
No, and if I was the GM, I would put in his contract that he must wear these uniforms. I'd make him wear the SOBs, man. Dang, man, he
I
needs to
had to
wear
make
those
that joke. I'm
uniforms.
sorry, but no.
Hey, it was a good one.
But so not only that, but the Red Sox went out and got Tyler Thornburg for Travis Shaw and a couple other prospects from the Milwaukee Brewers. So that's a pretty big bullpen piece right there. That shows that they're pretty much done with the whole Junichi Tozawa, Koji Irihara little decade, or almost decade there. It was damn near a decade for the two of them. Koji was back in 2011, so half decade for him, and Tozawa was like 07, I believe. So that shows that era is pretty much done in Boston, or at least both of them. And then they go out and get Mitch Moreland to either play first base or be their DH, with Hanley Ramirez being the other one. And who do they have back at third base this year? Panda, who is about 65 pounds slimmer. But can Panda still play third base?
I think he can. His mobility is obviously better, isn't it?
They haven't said anything about that yet. They just said that he lost about 65 pounds.
Well, that's a huge plus. I'm going to go out and say he can still play. Obviously, he can still probably hit.
I think he'll definitely be rotating in and out with Brock Holt for sure.
Yeah, especially early, at least early.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, because Dave Dombrowski and John Farrell had every intention to rotate Travis Shaw, Brock Holt, and Yoan Moncada over at third. Well, Travis Shaw is now in Milwaukee, Yoan Moncada is now in Chicago. That leaves Brock Holt and Panda.
Yeah, I don't know. They must have a little bit of confidence in him now, especially coming off injury that he needed to slim down. I think they'll be okay for some reason. I just do.
Yeah.
I don't know what basis that is on. It's not really any kind of educated guess based on stats or anything like that. But he played terrible to start the year last season, and then he got hurt, and then he was out for the year. So
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
he's going to be fresh.
He's past his prime. That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
He's more than likely done winning Gold Gloves. I don't know if he'll be an All-Star in the next few years.
I mean, he could be.
And then, I don't mean to segue here, but it popped up, so I want to say it while it's there. Adam Eaton goes to the Nationals. Dane Dunning, Lucas Giolito, top pitching prospect, and Ronaldo Lopez also went to the Chicago White Sox. So the White Sox got abundance of prospects between Boston and Washington. Now, did Washington overpay for Adam Eaton?
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to a Nationals fan the other day. He said he wasn't upset about the trade. He thought it was a fair trade. At least they get a proven player. But yeah, you give up a lot of prospects for a guy who's getting older. But
now, if you want to give
you know what? I want to make this point real fast, though. And this is a little bit off topic, but still relating to the story here. Bryce Harper wanted $400 million. You know what that means for the Nationals?
See ya.
They are selling out for the next 2 years. They want to win a World Series in the next 2 years. So if you based on that, you have to have the right deal, and they got the deal.
I still think they could have probably traded Sam Salas instead of Lucas Giolito and still gotten the trade done. Honestly.
Well, we weren't in those rooms, so we have no idea, but you might be right.
I mean, before the winter meetings, they had Scherzer, Strasburg, Rourke, Gonzalez, Ross, Cole, Giolito, and Lopez as potential starting pitchers. Now, obviously, take out Lopez and Giolito, and you're left, and Sam Salas, slides in that spot. Even though Salas is I'm pretty sure he's a freaking long relief now. He's not even a starter anymore. I mean, he is, but he isn't.
Yeah.
So, all right, I've kept you waiting long enough, but I'm going to keep you waiting another minute.
No, you're not. The Atlanta Braves are up next, and this
nope.
is what we're going to
No,
because
there's one more. There's one more.
Shush. World Series champion.
Shush. There's one more player. There's one player we need to talk about still.
All right.
And that's Kenley Jansen. Where the hell does he go? He's got connections in Miami. He's got connections in Washington. He's got connections in LA. He's searching for comfort, so that pretty much knocks out Washington. Mattingly,
Yeah,
Gordon, Ellis, all those guys are in Miami. And then he's got this year's LA team.
Yeah, I've been hearing all week long it's basically down to the Dodgers and Miami, and you know what? I think he's going to stay with the Dodgers.
Really? Because I heard Dodgers aren't willing to match Miami's offer. They're just trying to, add incentives to make him come back instead of actually matching it monetarily.
Yeah, that's why I think he's going to come back. The Dodgers know they need to have him to have any shot against the Cubs if they face him in the playoffs. There's got to be a way that he goes back to the Dodgers, and I'm just going to stick with my prediction that I made a couple months ago that he's going to stay with the Dodgers.
All right. So we got Mark Melancon going to the Giants. Kenley's still on the board. Aroldis Chapman going back to the Yankees. Koji Irihara ends up going to the Cubs. Junichi Chizawa's still on the board. Greg Holland, I think I said this already, but Greg Holland's still on the board. So there's still some closers out there. Nationals, Marlins, Dodgers still in the mix. All right.
Yep.
Without skipping ahead 5 years, let's talk about the Atlanta Braves.
All right, we can't talk about 2021.
Not yet, anyway.
Who, by the way, beats your Yankees World Series.
That was just a prediction. That doesn't count. Anyway. So, within the first, 2-3 days of free agency, the Braves go out and sign R.A. Dickey and Bartolo Colon. Back-to-back days. That right there is a step up for their rotation. So now their rotation from that point was looking Dickey, Colon, Tehran, dude whose last name I can't say, Fultos, that guy. You know who I'm talking about. Mike. Yeah, that. And I cannot think of your guys' fifth starter right now for the life of me.
Yeah, I honestly can't.
I think it was like Terrell Jenkins, who just got shipped out to Texas. So, anyway, so then about a week or so later, the Braves go out and sign Sean Rodriguez, a utility man. That more than likely means Emilio Bonifacio is done in Atlanta, and I can't blame them.
Anyway.
So, next up, about another week later, they go out and make a trade for another starting pitcher. Jaime Garcia is coming out of St. Louis and going down to Atlanta. So now...
Dumb.
What?
Dumb trade. That's all I got to say about that.
You don't like it?
I don't like sending the prospects for a guy we're probably going to have for a year.
It's true. But you guys are developing plenty of people down in the minors, so I think you'll be okay. So,
yep.
So now we got... So now for the Braves, we got Dickey, Colon, Tehran, Garcia, and... Say his name again?
Fultonavich.
Yeah. And then you still got Matt Kemp out in the outfield along with Markakis and... Well, they're your Braves. You talk about them. I'm not going to lie. I don't know much about the Braves since Chipper Jones left.
Since Chipper Jones left. Man, that's embarrassing.
Sorry, since we got Brian McCann.
Okay, that's a little better. Not by much.
by about 3 years.
Well, maybe it was 3 years. I don't know. It couldn't have been too long after that stupid playoff game that I'm still mad about to this day.
I do know that I thought you guys were going to go out and get Matt Wieters, Jason Hamill, and possibly Joey Betts this offseason, which you still may get 2 or 3 of those guys, or 1 or 2 of those guys, rather.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying all offseason, we're going to sell out for next season and next season only, so that's why they're going out and getting 40-year-old guys that nobody wants anymore.
Because they want to fill the seats at the new stadium.
Exactly. And they got this new little overpass they're going to be making here in the next couple of years that was actually postponed. But anyway, that's not the point. Honestly, I could see this team finishing not last for once.
I think Phillies go back to last place, honestly.
Yeah, they
even though they just signed Joaquin Benoit.
And that don't flip my meter at all. That goes from like a 0 to about a 1 because they're still so bad in every other area.
True.
Yeah, I mean their rotation's decent. I mean I wouldn't call it terrible. It's a lot better than last season. Um, I still don't like Jaime Garcia. He's like second to worst or last in every major statistical, well, I guess advanced statistical category out of 74 pitchers who made a certain amount of starts. I think it was 15. So that's not good. He sucks. I don't like that trade. I think he sucks. Fultonavich is fine. He's still developing a little bit. He's not too much better than he was a couple years ago, though.
We almost got him for Brian McCann, actually.
Yeah, I would have taken it.
There's one more trade we got to talk about after.
Bartolo Colon, he's fine, but he can't hit. He finally got a home run. Yeah, I mean, I guess the outfield's okay with Markakis and Kemp, and then you got Freddie Freeman at first base, which is great. The rest of the infield is pretty much average, besides Dansby Swanson, who's really awesome. Yeah, I mean, they might finish third, but I don't see much more than that.
Ahead of who? The Phillies and who? Don't you dare say the Marlins.
You know what? The Marlins haven't proven a whole lot lately.
No, but if they can go out and get frickin' Kenley Jansen and then come up with some type of frickin' hitter to get, I mean, they just signed up. They just got Jeff Locke.
I'm having to base it off what we see right now, and they haven't signed any of those guys yet. So if we're basing it on the rosters right now, yeah, I could see them finishing ahead of the Marlins, but not by much.
I'd say 5-game max.
Well, I don't even think it would be that much. I think it would be like a game or two that I could realistically see them ahead of. That doesn't mean that I predict it that way. Right now, you got the Mets, who are far and away better. Who's the other team we're missing here?
It's Mets, Nationals, Braves, Marlins, and Phillies.
They're not beating out the Nationals. No way in hell.
No.
The Nationals are too dang good. They're going to be first. The Mets second. The Marlins are probably going to be third. The Braves fourth, and of course the Phillies are going to be back there with like 60 wins or some crap. So, yeah, the Braves they got some nice pieces. They might finish ahead of the Marlins, but I wouldn't expect it.
Right. Okay, so last trade, and I think this pretty much wraps it up. And honestly, if you ask me, this is probably the worst trade. Or, I'm sorry, maybe not the worst trade, but the most unfair trade of the winter meetings and of the offseason thus far. It involves the Chicago Cubs and the Kansas City Royals. The Royals traded Wade Davis to the Chicago Cubs for Jorge Soler straight up. What in the hell was... Theo Epstein was good. What the hell was the Kansas City Royals GM thinking?
I have no idea. This is, like you said, one of the most unfair deals. I don't like Soler going straight up. I mean, I think you'd get at least a prospect or two.
Or cash or something.
Anything else. But now the Cubs, you basically replace Chapman for Wade Davis.
And then you got Uehara in the eighth.
Yeah, and it's not a huge drop-off, honestly. I mean, the speed's obviously not going to be nearly as fast, but geez, man, you're talking about a bullpen that's still bolstered right now. And losing Chapman isn't a big deal when you go get Wade Davis for basically nothing.
For practically nothing. The only thing that would have been worse is if you got him for freaking Javier Baez.
Exactly. I mean, this is why nobody should ever doubt Theo Epstein ever, because I don't care if he's in a big market or not, but his trades, man, they are absolutely, bar none, the best in baseball. That's why he's a great GM and he's going to the Hall of Fame.
But you know what I can't complain about? The fact that the Yankees got freaking top prospects galore for Aroldis Chapman back in July, and then we go out and sign him, so it's like he never left.
Yeah.
It's like the same
But you know
thing.
what?
It's like the same thing when we did when we traded Adam Warren to the Cubs. Freaking, we got Starling Castro for Adam Warren and like one other player, and then we got Adam Warren back in that trade for Earl Chapman. So it's like we never got rid of Warren in the first place. It's like we just went out and signed Castro.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty awesome. But you know what? Cubs will do that every time when we get a World Series.
So real quick, I did a prediction video about a month back, and I predicted the top 50 MLB free agents.
Okay.
I'm honestly, because there's 30 possibilities in the, in North America, and then obviously they could go play overseas. The fact that there's 30 plus possibilities, I'm actually pretty damn proud to say I got 9 of them right so far.
Yeah, that's actually pretty dang good. Congrats to you.
Granted, I got frickin', 17 wrong, but a lot of the ones I got wrong, I called the right division, so, I mean, that kind of counts like half a point for me, like in my opinion. So,
You're right up there with Sports Illustrated on guessing.
facts.
Freaking,
I got Mark Melanson, I got R.A. Dickey, I got Neil Walker, I got Kendrys Morales, I got Matt Joyce, I got Aroldis Chapman, I got Fernando Rodney, I got Carlos Gomez, and I got Dexter Fowler.
That's pretty damn good.
So.
All right, well, this video's ridiculously long. Sorry, fans.
Yeah, really. I mean, I knew it was going to be long, but I didn't think it was going to be this long. So. All right. Well, I thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully there will be more Josh here soon. My schedule is finally starting to wind down, so I will have time for more videos where it's not just me, and I hope to get live streaming here again soon. I've just, like I said, been incredibly busy. Senior year, it takes a lot out of you. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll be talking to you guys later. Peace. I'm out.
Go Braves.